Hey everybody, welcome to Home with the Halsteads and welcome to my kitchen. Today I have some fresh peas and I am so excited. I'm going to wash them and blanch them and cool them and put them in freezer bags and put them in my freezer so that we'll have some on special holidays like Thanksgiving and Christmas and Easter and other times during the winter months when they are not fresh and we can't get fresh ones. If they are fresh, then we eat them fresh, and we like to eat things that are in season. But when they aren't in season, I do like to have some in the freezer. So I'm going to show you how I do that. And we're going to get started, and I'll bring you in close and I'll show you step by step exactly how we do that. The first thing that we do, and I'll go ahead and tell you the first step, is that I take the peas and I put them in a bowl, and I do just a few at the time because it's easier that way. And I go through and I see if there are any bad peas or maybe some peas that have got a little bug sting on them, and I take those out. So Doug and I have already gone through this bag, and we have what I call cleaned the peas, and they're ready to wash. And so I'm going to pour them in this large pan that I have here in my sink, and I'm going to run water over it. And I like to wash mine 2 or 3 times depending on how much they need to be washed, I can tell. And so I'll start that process and I'll see you in a minute. Okay, I have already washed our peas twice, and I'm going to wash them a 3rd time. I'll finish putting a little bit more water in here, and I'm going to put my peas in this saucepan. It's a large saucepan. I have 2 of these about the same size, and I think that they'll hold them. And you don't want to fill the pan too full because it'll boil over when we put it on the stove. I used to have what they called a blancher. It was a pan or a saucepan. It was tall, and it had a colander that fit down in it. And you put your peas in that, and then you just lifted the colander out. But I don't know what happened to that. So I just use my regular saucepans that I cook with. So I'm just going to put our peas over in the saucepan, and I'll do 2 of these, and I'll put them on the stove. And I only fill, I'm just going to put about half full, maybe a little more than half full, because like I said, I don't want it to boil over on my stove. So I'll do the other one, and then I'll be back. I'll go ahead and put it on the stove and get it to boiling, and then I'll bring you back in and show you where we are in the process. Our peas are starting to boil, and I wanted to show you this. They form a film or foam on top of the peas, and I just skim that off. I just take a little skimmer and I just put it over here in a pan like that. And as the peas boil, then I just kind of skim that off. So our peas are boiling. I'm going to set our timer. I'm going to turn the heat down a little bit so they don't boil over. And I'm going to let them boil for 3 to 5 minutes. Okay, our peas have boiled for 5 minutes. I did let them boil 5 minutes. That's called the blanching process, that's the part of the blanching process. And so now, with a colander, I'm going to pour our peas into this colander. And you want to be really careful because this is very, very hot. So I'm just going to kind of spread that out evenly. You notice I have it here in the sink. Now I'm going to use some tap water, some cold water, and I'm going to start cooling the peas. So I'm just going to run this water through the colander over the peas and start the cooling process. After I've done this, I'm going to pour the peas in this large pan that I have here. Hopefully you can see it. And I'm going to put some ice on the peas, and I'll show you how I do that. So I'm going to continue cooling these peas with this water right now, and I'll be back in just a minute. Okay, our peas are almost ready to put in our freezer bags. I ran the water over the peas, I cooled them, I ran it through the colander as you saw me do, and then I put it in this large pan. I put some ice. When I finished the first batch of peas, I poured the peas in there, put some ice on them. I cooled the second batch of peas, poured them on there, and put some ice on here. Now obviously when the ice melts, there's going to be water. So you want to run this back through a colander to get all of the water out of the peas before you start bagging them to put in your freezer. We'll be bagging in just a few minutes. I wanted to tell you that when you put the ice over your peas, you can add water and make ice water to cool your peas, and that's just another step in the process that you can use as well if you don't want to wait for the ice to melt and trickle down on the peas. And sometimes I do that because it does help to speed the process. So now we're going to bag our peas. I'm just using plastic freezer bags. You can use any other type of freezer containers that you like to freeze in. And this is a quart bag. I'm going to put about 4.5 cups of peas. That'll make a good mess. That's what we call it, a good mess of peas. And you want to get as much of the air out, so I just kind of fold it over like that. And there you have it. And I also like to write on mine the date and the year that I freeze my peas, and then I pull them from my freezer. I pull the oldest ones first and use those. So I hope that you've learned something today. For those of you who might not have ever frozen peas, for those of you who are seasoned and you know how to do it, then I would be interested to know if you do yours like mine, or if you have a different process for freezing yours. So I will see you back in a minute. Thank you for joining me in my kitchen today. Thank you for helping me put up these fresh peas. I'm going to take them out and put them in the freezer. And I hope that you're enjoying fresh fruits and vegetables with your family, just like we are here at Home with the Halsteads. I'll see you again really, really soon. Thank you for watching.